Welcome everyone on panel and to those joining us from around the globe for Global Ed Student Chat, formerly OnEd Student Chat. Today we'll be discussing self-awareness and identity. Global Ed Student Chat is a student-led Twitter chat that connects K through 12 students around the world to discuss topics and questions related to character education, social justice, and citizenship. Global Ed Student Chat creates opportunities for students to network with others, gain perspective, build relationships with new learning partners in a literacy-rich environment, and experience social media as a powerful platform for learning and establish a positive digital footprint. So thank you for joining us today. So I'm going to turn things over to Darcy.
Yep. So if you're watching us on YouTube, you will notice that there's a comment space to your right. This is a great way for you to share your own thoughts and ideas and add your thinking and get involved in the conversation. If you have Twitter, follow the hashtag GlobalEdSSChat to read the ideas, thoughts, questions shared by others. Use the hashtag to add your thinking and get involved in the conversation. Feel free to share your name and where in the world you are joining from today. If you ask questions, we will bring them to panel. Please remember that the audience for this chat is K-12, so your comments and questions should be appropriate for all ages.
All right, thank you so much, Darcy. And Anna Heat joining in. Can you do us a favor and introduce our wonderful guest expert on panel today?
I'm happy to introduce our expert on panel today, Ms. Tara Martin. Tara Martin is an enthusiastic educator, national speaker, and author who thrives on change and refuses to settle for the status quo. She has served as a classroom teacher and an instructional coach for several years, and most recently a district administrator. As the founder of #BookSnaps, the latest reading comprehension strategy currently implemented in 17 countries, she is always seeking unique ways to make learning fun, relevant, and meaningful. Tara is the author of the inspirational book Be Real, Educate from the Heart, and Cannonball In, a motivating children's book illustrated by Genesis Kohler. Tara firmly believes machines and artificial intelligence will never replicate the individual's real identity, the unique strengths, talents, and life experiences of every human. Tara's passion for education and love of writing led her to a new role where she coaches and serves educational authors as the Director of Public Relations and Communication for DBC Inc.
Excellent. Thank you, Tara, for joining us today, and thank you, Anna Heat. We're going to go on to introductions, but first I'm going to have, actually, no, we're going to go on with introductions, I'm sorry. So if we can go around to the camera slots, let's see, we have some friends from Schreiber Public School joining in today. If you'd like to say hello.
Hello. My name is Ujas. We're in grade 8.
My name is Aiden.
Hello, Ujas and Aiden. And we also have some guest student panelists from Holland Central Schools in Holland, New York.
Hi, my name is Emily. My name is Sarah.
And I'm David.
Welcome, welcome. And what grade are you in?
Seniors.
All right, grade 12. And we have our wonderful student leads here on the panel. And who do we have here? Go ahead.
I'm Anahi. I'm in grade 11. I'm a student at Cardinal Carter, and I'm really excited to chat today.
And I'm Miss Cassatod. I'm Jennifer Cassatod, one of the co-founders of Student Chat. So excited to be here and to amplify student voice.
And Darcy is here.
Yeah, sorry. I'm Darcy. I'm in grade 9, and I attend GDCI, which is in the AMDSB School Board in Ontario. And this is my second year with the staff.
Excellent, excellent. I'm Michael Drezick. I am also one of the educator leads here with Global Ed Student Chat. And I'm going to bring in, and then I'm going to step out here, our student lead, Sam, who's going to talk about the norms before we hit question 1.
Hi, I'm Sam. I go to LDSS in Ontario. I'm in grade 9. I've been with this chat since the start, so 3 years now. Yeah, and I'll be talking about the norms. So we have 20 minutes to discuss 3 questions. Please be mindful that the chat is open to students in grades kindergarten to 12. We ask that there's active participation from classes who are watching. All comments made during the chat should be positive and productive, and everyone is entitled to their own opinion. You may not agree with something someone has said, but we ask that when challenging an idea, you respectfully disagree with the idea, not the individual person.
Should I introduce the first question?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
The first question is, what does it mean to be yourself, and what makes you unique?
I would say what it means to be yourself is to express your thoughts and opinions and not to be shy or hesitant about what you think and what you believe. And there's no person is the same. So your passions and what you project onto others really to who you are. So I think if you project positivity and positive energy, then that's what others will think of you. And I think this is very important because obviously a lot of people care how they're perceived. So I and that's what makes you unique. Your passions, your interests, and how you treat others.
Thank you so much, Anahit. Who would like to go next?
I can step in. Oh, or you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say I agree with you. I think to add to that is never have somebody influence your own opinion unless it's like obviously a really important issue that you can compromise on. But other than that, just like always be true to yourself and always like prove your point to the fullest of your abilities, even if it might disagree with someone else's.
Is always do what makes you happy. And this is basically what you just said. I'm sorry, just reiterating, but just like always do what makes you happy, no matter what anyone else is thinking of you. Because at the end of the day, it's all about what's making you happy and not making the rest of the world happy.
Yeah, you can't do something else for like. You have to make sure like you're living your best life and everything. You can't do stuff for other people. Like obviously, always be kind to others and respect others, but at the same time, you have to make sure it's making yourself happy first.
Yeah, and on top of that, you never know that something that maybe makes you happy could help the world and become a better place, and you didn't even realize it. So never be afraid to project yourself because, like they said, there's always going to be a possibility that without even realizing it, you could help and impact the world, the rest of the world, just by being yourself and speaking out.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything that's been said. I feel like the biggest part about being yourself is just not being afraid to be who you really are, no matter the pressure of society, other people, or maybe like even yourself, like put on yourself. I feel like it means doing what makes you truly happy and not others, and learning how to grow and strive to be a better version of yourself. Everyone is unique in their own ways, and we as society need to celebrate that uniqueness more. Something that makes me unique, I think, is that I'm really passionate about social justice issues. Yeah. That's my answer.
Yeah, and a lot of it is you just need to believe in yourself that you can be yourself, and that if people don't really agree with who you are, then those aren't people you want to be around either. And like what makes you unique is just being you. Don't try to be other people because you think they're cool, but you're cool in your own way. Everybody has their own unique personality that you should embrace instead of getting rid of.
So did your group wanted to say anything?
Yeah, sure. I don't really know what to say because I just completely agree with everything that's already been said. To be yourself, you really just gotta not care all that much about what everyone else is thinking and just really do what makes you happy.
I couldn't agree more with you guys. I actually wrote a book called Be Real, Educate from the Heart, but I really think it could be called Be Real, Live from the Heart, because the truth is being real means staying true to who you are. It's an acronym, and the R stands for being relatable. The E stands for exposing a little vulnerability. And I think we kind of touched on that when we were talking. Just sometimes we have to stand for what we believe or what makes us unique or the passions that we are so excited about. And then the A is being approachable. And I think when we are showing that vulnerability, when we are staying true to who we are, just like David had mentioned earlier, he said sometimes what makes you happy or what makes you unique could be the very thing that the world is actually needing. It could be something that changes the world. And so that's where that A being approachable, I mean, they all kind of blend together. But when you show yourself vulnerable, you actually make yourself more approachable because you are so real. Like people are like, oh, they're not the untouchable, the fake, the person I can't even relate to. And then the L in real stands for learning through life. And I think as all of you have mentioned, it's all about learning not only who we are, but also learning what others need and learning how to serve those that are within our realm of influence. And a lot of that means we just have to, as each of you have mentioned, just stay true to what you believe. I mean, if something comes and really convinces you otherwise, then sure, by all means, if you're truly convinced to switch your opinions, that's okay. But if it's something you're passionate about, somebody's trying to sway you to be something different, don't. Just be real, because being real is the one thing that I feel like artificial intelligence can never actually replace. It can never replace each of your unique individualities, what you're passionate about, what you love, all of your life experiences, your upbringing, all of that makes you you. And it also helps you to serve those people that you will one day have to serve in your professional world, but also right there in your community, in your school community. All those people are looking to you to be you. So I appreciate all the answers. You guys did a really awesome job on that question.
Should we move on to the second question? Yeah, we're all ready. Okay. So the second question is, how does social media affect one's self-image or allow you to be more or less of yourself?
Personally, I think social media, it can be used as like a negative and positive aspect. It's like negative, you see like all these people, like celebrities, like people like all this plastic surgery, and you're like, oh, I want to be like that. I think that's like the perfect body, the perfect house, the perfect place. You have to like realize that like that's so fake. Like that's not even remotely how it actually is in the world. But we all like see that like that's constantly on social media. So we think, oh, I have to like strive to be like that. When really like you could just be like happy and living your own life and just in your own world. As long as like you're living your own world and you're happy, like you're set. And like positive things about social media and like that affect us is like I could totally just go on social media and see like the whole entire world. And usually like I'm not all like up with like news and stuff, like that's just like not me. I just kinda I don't know, I kinda stay against like politics and stuff, like what's happening. But like social media causes me to like actually see what's going on and like with different cultures, which is really cool because I wouldn't have even seen that before I went on social media. And then I kind of get connected with the other cultures and it just all fits in and helps how like someone is gonna like come together individually.
Yeah, I think that's some really good points. I feel like if social media, if we recognize it or not, affects our self-image in many negative ways. You know, if we think about, you know, body image, status, race, products, items, they're all things that when as soon as we open our phones or open our devices, they're all like shoved towards us. And it makes us feel like we have to be like everyone else, when in all reality, we don't have to be like this standard. I think it's important to remember that social media, as you were saying, is not something that we can trust all the time to be true. And we need to recognize this. And, as the question says, how we can become on these platforms, different versions of ourselves. Whether these versions are not true representations of how good of people we are, we post really bad things, negative things, or how it's unrealistic versions of us. I think it's just important to remember that the best version of you is the true version. So if we can help make social media better by being true to ourselves, and it will encourage others to be true, and it will be more unique and fun and awesome.
I think this question is really relevant to today and how technology is evolving. People need to realize that what others show on their social media pages is just a snapshot of their life. Someone who posts on social media isn't going to show emotion that they're going through an emotional time, or they're going through a hardship. They want to let others know that they're happy. They want to show other people their accomplishments and not their internal struggles or anything else that's bothering them. So, and it was mentioned that by Tara, that artificial intelligence could never replace human intelligence and sympathy, and I completely agree with that. No matter how much our technology it evolves, we always have to communicate with each other. And an interesting thing is the reason that we evolved as humans was because we communicated with each other, and that's what gave us our evolutionary advantage. So it's really important not to lose sight of that. I've used technology to educate myself, and I find it as an excellent resource. But each person has to make sure and check with themselves that they aren't using social media to compare themselves and beat themselves up because they're not a portrayed way of how others want to see them.
Yeah, I think that social media isn't really the most positive space because people don't really post themselves on it. They post what others want themselves to be. So you can make it a more positive space by actually just really doing who you are, being yourself. And then everyone can shift more over to that. And then social media will be like a place of more diversity and where people can really understand each other and, find people that are just like them.
So going off of what I've heard a lot of on social media, people don't see a lot of the grit and the work that sometimes goes, or the struggles that are behind the picture. And I read this article one time about how scientists call this like a duck syndrome, where you can see like a duck on a pond or lake, and it looks like it's just gracefully going across the water. In reality, you don't see the legs that are kicking and trying to get it moving across the pond and the hard work. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. And so in the future, something that I do when I go on social media and stuff like that, maybe yes, it is good to post those pictures of you happy, because that's, if you're truly happy and you're posting that and showing, that is what social media is for. But sometimes when I put these pictures on there, I write below, or in the text spot, describe the struggles you went through, just to explain to other people that it's not all perfect. Yes, at the end of the day, for example, over the summer, I did a lot of training for soccer and for swimming and for my athletic seasons. But before that, I was really not in shape. And going from just, oh, I'm out of shape and all this stuff, to the fit, athletic me type of thing, people may have just looked at it and been, wow, he's got a perfect life. But they didn't realize I was running 4 miles every other day, doing that struggle over the entire summer, which was about 2 to 3 months, just to get to that step or stage of where I wanted to be at. So I had to get to that struggle first. And when I would post a picture or something like that, I would say underneath, oh, this is the struggle. So that they know there is definitely a good side, a positive side of what all the work and stuff you put in, but you have to get through that struggle first before you can get to that point.
Thank you. Sam, were you going to jump in before Tara?
Sure. Yeah, a lot of it, like, I agree with everything that was said, and a lot of it is that people post everything or what, or lie of something that didn't go too well that made it the perfect thing. Like, it's all, everything that gets posted on social media normally is positive side and the result of something, but they don't say what was leading up. They don't say what they had to go through to get there. And it's just that perfect thing, and that can really put someone down if they don't have those perfect things in their life. Everything you do doesn't need to be perfect. Like, everything is done for a reason, and you can't always control it. But at the same time, if everybody posted what life is really like for them, then you would have a lot less problems with depression and everything coming from.
Yes, I think Sam was trying to say I know his device was cutting in and out, but I feel like he was just trying to say that, a lot of times we do need to, just as David mentioned earlier, we often need to just overtly mention the stuff that we're doing, the real part. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I'll post happy pictures on my Instagram, and then like in parentheses, I'm like, never mind that, so maybe I post a picture of my husband's birthday cake, because today's his birthday. And then never mind that I burnt the first 2 sets of cupcakes. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just nice for people just to see. Like you said, I love the duck analogy, because that is exactly the way life really is. And you know what? The truth is, I know earlier, I think it was Sarah or Emily that was talking about, these stars, posting online, and we do see their highlight reel. But recently I watched an episode of The Ellen Show, and Justin Bieber was on there, and so was Demi Lovato, however you say her last name. I love both of them. But one of the things I loved about their conversation on that show is they were talking about the realness of their life. What people see is this highlight reel, but they are human too. They're just like us. They're going through the hard times just like we are, maybe even more so, because there's so much in the light of so many critics and so much stuff coming at them. And the truth of the matter is, right back to what we talked about earlier, being real. I mean, they are real humans with real hearts, with real feelings. And so it's important that we remember, even whatever we see online, that there is a human behind that tech. And it doesn't really matter what we're seeing, just knowing there's a heart, somebody with a heartbeat that has feelings behind that tech should guide how we respond, how we criticize, how we comment. I think that's a really, really important to remember with all of these answers. You guys did a really great job describing how tech sometimes can be like negative in our mind, but I think it's all in our perception, truly. Because even when we see that highlight reel, if we just know in our heart, like David mentioned, that that's a duck like gliding across the water, but truthfully, no matter what they're doing, they're real humans, and there's a lot of work happening inside their heart, their mind, and their soul underneath the water, then we can then realize that they are real, that they aren't trying to put this facade out there, or even if they are, it's not a real facade. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that didn't really make sense, but there is a real human behind the tech. I know that makes sense. So I think it's important for all of us to remember that and not try to compare ourselves. I love what, I think it was, pronounce your name for me again, Anna Heights? Anna Heights. Perfect. I like what she said when she said it's very important that we use education, that we use tech to educate and not compare ourselves. So she uses it to learn and not necessarily to use for a comparison. And I think if we could do that, is learning more about individuals that could work as well to help us to not compare ourselves with them.
Sorry, my mic muted. Yeah, so I think good discussion. Let's move on to question number 3. So, how can you encourage others to be more self-loving?
I really feel like the only way to encourage others is to honestly just set an example for them. Like if you show yourself doing what you love, like personally, I love the sport track and field. And I know a lot of people like don't like it because running and but I'm really like passionate about it, and a lot of people don't see that. But I feel like that's like kind of a way to get others to do what they enjoy doing without worrying about what others think. Because yeah, I complain about it sometimes, but it's still like at the end of the day, I love doing it. So yeah, it's like just setting an example for others, just doing what you love so that they can do that as well.
I completely agree with everything. I was gonna go down around the same kind of idea. I feel like the best way we can encourage others is just to start with loving ourselves. It sounds like really cheesy. As much as we can push compliments towards others, I feel like actions always speak louder than words. And if we show them that we value ourselves and respect ourselves or strive to achieve that, it shows them that we believe that our insecurities and weaknesses are unique and beautiful, and shows them that we believe that theirs are too. So I feel like instead of just telling them that, you could also just show them.
Well, a way that you can encourage them is by not judging them, because everyone always wants to be better than who they were yesterday, and there's always this sense of self-improvement. I think that it's one of the most important things to always keep improving yourself. And you can never love others if you don't love yourself. So you have to constantly work on how you can improve that aspect of your life, because I know that I'm only in grade 11, but for my future career and in my life, I can never move forward if I don't put confidence in myself and confidence in others. Without that, I'm always going to have something that's holding me back, and I have to let go of not judging other people, not judging them without knowing them. I feel like a lot of people judge prematurely without knowing the person. They make judgments based on the rumors they hear, and I think that's one of the worst things that they can do, because it's happened to me in some instances where I've heard not nice things about other people, negative things, and I've made an impression about them without even meeting them. And I, I've reflected, and I found that that's not the right thing to do. You definitely need to encourage others and yourself to meet the person and understand what they're truly about.
So yes, I agree with everything that everyone has said, and I personally think it just starts with the little things. It's just one little thing, and it's like a domino effect. So just a little compliment. I mean, most times when we make a compliment, most people don't think about it. Like the person that makes the compliment doesn't really think too much of the compliment. Like, oh, I just said, hey, you look really good today, or something like that, or nice job, or something like that. Most people don't think about that because it's just words. It's something that we can easily just quickly say, or something like that. It's not super hard, and it's something that we can easily do. But we don't realize most of the time what an impact it has on a person's day. Like I can think of tons of examples where my friends have just said something and it's just made my day. And they don't realize it because they just think, oh, it's a common thing to do, just say this, say that type of thing. And without even realizing it, my whole day just got so much better because of them saying that. So just even a little tiny compliment, it might not help them like right away or something like that, but given enough people, if enough people start doing this, more and more people get into this, just little comments, little things here and there, it all adds up to one big thing at the end of the day. and that could make someone's day so much brighter. And almost a week, a day, it keeps going, months and years, and it just like that. It's just like a domino effect of just one little thing. It just starts with one little thing like that.
I could not agree more with everything that's been said. I really appreciated all the different pieces. Sarah, you starting us out with showing yourself as an example, modeling what self-love is all about. And I think Anna Height, you kind of went right into that as well, but you also talked about not judging people. And then Darcy, I love that you also mentioned a very similar vibe. And then David finishing up with showing others value. And so I recently wrote this post called Seeking Value versus Finding Value. I think a lot of times we're always seeking value. I mean, humans just want that. They want to feel validated. But a lot of times I think the way that we find the value is by finding value in other people and actually sharing that with them. It's exactly what I wrote about, David. So thank you for reiterating what I already was going to say, because that's so true. I like you said, we just say these things really quick and we don't really think a lot about it, but we found value in something that other people were doing. And what they gained from it could last a lifetime. I mean, not even just a week. It could last a whole entire lifetime. You might have just made their whole entire confidence like raise up to a new level. So thank you for sharing all of your wonderful things about this topic. I'm very passionate about the Be Real topic, and I'm excited about all of your answers and all the wonderful things you're doing within your realm of influence in your schools and in your families and in your world. So thank you so much for having me too.
Well, we would like to thank you so much, Tara Martin, for joining us as an expert on panel on behalf of the Global Ed Student Chat team, Michael Dresik, Lee Castle, and I. We'd love to thank our leaders, Sam, Darcy, Anna Heat. You are awesome. From Schreiber Public School, thank you so much, Ujas and Aiden, for being with us. From Holland CSD, Emily, Sarah, David, and your teacher, Mr. McMillan. And please keep the conversation going. And this has been an incredible conversation. Please use the hashtag #GlobalEdStudentChat, GLOBALEDSS chat to keep the conversation going. We have a slow chat happening for the rest of the month in March. Follow us on social media if you don't, at Global Ed Student Chat. Please connect with Tara on Twitter at TaraMartinEDU, or go to her website at taramartin.com. Watch for details about next month's chat, which will happen on Tuesday, April 7th, around the topic of your digital persona. So we've already sort of touched on some of those topics right here, but we're going to go deeper next month. Please note we're currently recruiting members for our student leadership team as well as our social media ambassador program. Please DM us for more information. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us today, and we'll see you online.